We should get friendly. My name's Satchmo.
On me. Why not take all of me, baby? Oh, can't you see? I'm no good without you. Oh, baby, take me. I want to lose them. Oh, baby, take my arms. I'll never use them. Oh, baby, your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. Oh, yeah, I gotta go on, dear, without you. You took the part that was mine. Oh, why not take all, oh, baby.
He was a man who was truly universal. He was loved in Africa, he was loved in Europe, he was loved in Japan. Everywhere he went, not just because he smiled, he was loved, because the sound of that horn was a pure spiritual essence, the sound of America and the freedom that it is supposed to offer.
Of the way he played, the way he looked, his stage manner, the way he sang, all of these things were very profound. And they had a profound effect on the American musical scene.
What is in my faithful fortunes, but those how would it end? Ain't got a friend. My only sin is in my skin.
Louis is really the tradition. We haven't caught up to it yet. He created our colloquialism. Every musician that I know of worth in popular music or jazz music is stung by Louis Armstrong.
In 1964, Louis Armstrong had the #1 record in the nation. The success of Hello, Dolly was a remarkable triumph for a man who'd revolutionized American music nearly 40 years earlier.
The room swaying, the band playing, every tune from way back when, yes. Take a rap balance, land her an empty lap, yes. Dolly never go away again.
When Louis Armstrong was growing up, the word jazz was unknown. A new brass band music, rich in rhythm and soaked in the blues, had taken root in his hometown of New Orleans. But it took his genius, conquering poverty, racism, and indifference, to turn it into America's most durable and original musical art. Long before the world knew Armstrong as Ambassador Satch, before he entertained audiences with his clowning and mugging, he had set the ground rules for the way we hear and play jazz and popular music.
He turned jazz into an individual improvisation that didn't break away from the backing and the ensemble, but set the spotlight on one person. The effect, obviously, is still seen today.
During the mid-1920s in Chicago, Armstrong embarked on a project that codified the art of jazz improvisation. He organized small recording units known variously as the Hot 5 and Hot 7, which made 65 records in 3 years. Had he stopped performing in 1929, Armstrong would never have become the world-famous ambassador of goodwill. but he'd still have a claim on history as the man who created the foundation for a new music. 60 years later, his early records with their colorful titles continue to astonish and delight.
Potato Head Blues, where Pop says, did. Now, he begins a lot of his solos with that. Did. And that's something that King Oliver played all the time. And maybe some other New Orleans trumpet players play it all the time. But to me, that's like a call to. Did da do 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 we da do 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 dip it up we are did do bo do bo we boo be bo do bo do bo do bo do bo whip. In Armstrong's playing, is always that underpinning of a deep, pensive, and intellectual quality, which is manifest in his more difficult solos, something like West End Blues, where he does take a lot of harmonic chances and plays a lot of difficult things.
West End Blues, that's a wonderful one. I'd like to have $1 for every trumpet player that's goofed copying Louis' intro. That's a formidable beginning that he does. The notes aren't that complex. What makes it hard is he starts on a very high note, and the rhythm. Louis was very strong on rhythm, and the way he breaks up the phrases, it's very awkward to try to copy it.
Here was a new kind of artist, cagey and direct, inspiring and crude, high and low. In these records, a new music was etched into the grooves of a new technology, capturing for all time the purity of Armstrong's sound and his impetuous spirit.
You couldn't buy his records when they first came out. No one, because they were selling like hotcakes. You couldn't buy them. You couldn't buy them in any store. They were selling just like all of the stores that sold records. Even grocery stores were selling his records. And you're lucky to get, you were very lucky to find one of Louis Armstrong's records back then in those days.
Armstrong was a born showman who could light up any stage with his dazzling confidence and wit. In one of his earliest films, a short subject rife with appalling stereotypes, he stood ankle-deep in soap bubbles, wearing a leopard skin, singing a minstrel song. He transcended it all. As a truly free man who could make offensive material serve his own ends, he became a hero to the black community.
Oh, chocolate drop, that's me, 'cause my hair is curly, just because my teeth are burning. Oh, just because I always wear a smile. I like to dress up in the latest style, just because I'm glad I'm living. Oh, I take off my troubles, all with a smile, just because my color shade makes different. That's why they call me shy.